Hello, hello there, beautiful people. I'm pretty sure it's recording. Let me see if I have a way of seeing that. I'm gonna think it's recording. I think that's what this is. Hey, so how's everybody doing? So basically, I just wanted to take some time to go through a quick training for everyone, basically around ManyChat. For those of you that are not familiar with ManyChat, when we place our ads, people can comment for more info in the bottoms, like in the comments section. Either that, or they can click on some of our like send message buttons. For those of you that are new, maybe I'll just go into something here really quickly so you can see. Right on your ad, a lot of times we have like a send message button. This will be familiar for a lot of you, but I'm just going to try and keep it really simple for those that may still be new. Sorry for the slowest computer ever. Like really, really slow. And I'm like right beside the router too. Okay, perfect. So this actually is one of my ads. So it has a send message button right here. So when people actually click on this, what we have been doing up until this point, before ManyChat existed, was they would click the send message button and it would bring you into your inbox right here. And you would actually have a whole flood of messages and you would communicate with people back and forth. A lot of times we were either doing that on the fly, or we would have things that were kind of like ready to be able to be copy and pasted. Obviously, for the most part, like, we're getting to know people, right? So you can't always use the copy and paste, but you can use some of the pieces for the conversation. But obviously this way takes a lot more time, right? So all of these are people that have come off of an ad. The blue dot means they've come off of an ad. So these are all conversations that I'm having with people that I'm like getting to know them, right? And so there's definitely nothing wrong with this way. Generally in the beginning, sometimes we can struggle with knowing what to say. We don't really know like how to have those conversations, right? And so while we're learning, it's really important to find something that we can actually automate it and make that process a lot easier. Back in the day, actually not even back in the day, it's really not that long ago, we could just drop like our links inside of an ad, and we still can. It's just that the numbers are really not doing as great as what they used to, because Facebook changed a couple of things. Anyways, I won't go too far into detail with that, but I used to be able to like do my ad down here, and I could say click on this link here, www.ashleysaintgermain.com. They could click on the link and it would lead them right to a page that gets them to input their name and their email. The reason why that's not doing so well anymore is because Facebook realized that a lot of us advertisers were putting links in here, and that link actually leads people outside of Facebook, right? And so Facebook wants to do everything they can to keep people inside of Facebook for as long as possible. So that kind of screwed up the way that we were doing it. So my very intention with this video is to basically like re-automate a whole new way, because the send messages with these buttons here, which I'll have other training videos on how to do that for anybody who's, it may go over your head right now. That's totally okay. So we are getting actually really good numbers with this, just that it's a little more time consuming. So I'm going to show you today how we're going to automate that. So you're going to go into manychat.com and you're just going to make yourself an account. I already have an account, so it's pretty straightforward though, so you shouldn't need too much help with that part. I do have the paid account, which is $10 a month. I am not sure exactly what the free account all has in it. I know that the things that I needed to use were in the pro version, but it's $10 a month and will save you a lot of time, so it's totally worth it. So I'm just going to give you like a quicker version and try and keep myself on track here, because we all know how much I can talk. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go inside of your growth tools. Just click on that. And then you're going to go up here and you're going to click new growth tool. And we're going to go down right here to where it says Facebook comments. I guess I should pause for a second there in between, because if you just set up your account, you won't actually have your Facebook page linked to it yet. So right here, you're going to where your name is. See where it says add new page? Then you can actually go back to your page, which is over here for me. And I could take the URL from the beginning of my page, and I could copy and then paste that right into here and just click add new page. And then it will actually sync your page with your, we call this a bot, B-O-T. So it'll sync your page to your bot for you. So yeah, so basically we went into, let me just go back here so I can show you, just in case I confused anyone. No, it's not going to let me do that. Okay, there we go. Growth tools, new growth tool. Then we hit Facebook comments. So this one here, basically just kind of read through it, you know, like if there is a specific post or a specific ad that you want it to come from, you can choose that right here. So, Facebook posts. Yeah, so it'll show me like the last couple that were at the top of my page, and it will allow me to choose any one of those. Or I can actually go back to my page, get the URL, and I can copy it into the top bar if I want to choose that one. So for right now, I'm going to choose this one because that is the one I want. And then you just have to click I confirm. So this says when user leaves a comment, send message after. So you can do immediately, you can do as many seconds as you want, or as many minutes as you want. Generally, like, you know, 2 to 3 minutes. You can do 1, 2 to 3 minutes. You can also send immediately if you want, but it just seems not as real that way, right? If you're a real person, it's going to take you a minute, 2 or 3 to get back. The real way, sometimes it takes me 4 hours to get back. Obviously, that's not what we want, and that's why we're learning how to do it this way, because we want to actually grab people's attention when they are right there and in that flow, right? So we're going to say 2 minutes for this one. You can put in keywords if you want, but I'm not going to for this one. I actually don't use that one at all because I think it kind of limits you a little bit. So this right here is not actually super important, because on the next step we're going to do our own, what we call a sequence. So this one won't actually show up when we choose our own. So I just bypass that. Just click next. And then, so for our opt-ins, which is basically the first message, it means that once they reply after this, they are opting into your bot. Your bot will store their information. It will basically grow it inside of a list, and you now have access to these people, not just one time, but anytime you want. You can send out a broadcast to your entire list. You can do that once a week if you want, twice a week, 3 times a week, as much as you want, and it will show up right inside of their messenger. So the open rate is very high. It's like 92 to 95% of the time people will open what's inside of their messenger faster or more likely than to open it inside of email. So this is a very, very powerful tool to get our message out there, right, with such a high open rate. So for opt-in, it says don't send the opt-in message, send to everyone who replies, send only to users who reply with a keyword. So I'm going to click the middle one because I want it to go to every single person. And then right in here, you're just going to click the edit button. I have unsaved changes. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so this one over here, this is basically when you see it down the side right here, this is showing you the actual order of your messages. And when it's green, this is the one that we're working on. So this one here is called our opt-in message. That's the very first one that's going to show up. It gives you a little preview on the side over here. And actually, if you click on this, you can either, it will fill in their first name, their last name, their first name and last name, page number, page ID, blah, blah, blah. Just go through them. I usually just use first name. It's definitely more real that way. Like everybody else was saying, you don't really say you know, welcome, Ashley St. Germain. Thank you for subscribing. So, yeah, I mean, you can write whatever you want in here. Let me change this up a little bit just to give you guys an example. So I usually say something like, let's see, welcome. You can make whatever you want in here, so get super creative, right? In the beginning, you might want to just take somebody else's to make it a little bit easier, but then get really creative with it. Make it your own, you know? I'm going to take this one out because I'm going to put this inside of a different one, not the first one. But you can put it wherever you want. Thanks so much for reaching out. This first part of our message is automated. It's the fastest way to get both of us moving forward, building you a digital income. Click the Let's Get Started button now to move forward. So, yeah, I always like to tell them that it's automated, and then after I'll show you why. It just makes it more real, right? Because then they can picture themselves actually like having access to something as cool as this and being taught how to automate their own business, right? So that they have the time freedom. So we always actually like share that kind of stuff with them because it is very powerful. It shows them what they will have when they come to learn with us here, right? So as you can see, I click the Let's Get Started button now to move forward. So I'm going to add a button on the bottom. And like poke around in here, guys, because there's like a lot of different, you know, like the button right here, so we can name the button. I'm going to name the button, the first one, well actually I guess the only one right now is Let's Get Started, because that's what I said here. So like you can attach different actions to this, right? So if somebody clicked on it, you can like subscribe them, you can unsubscribe them. Start another flow, smart delay. Oh, I'll tell you about the smart delay too. So this first one is just, I'm just going to put the one button because I don't want to actually give them choices or lead them to a website or send a message inside of that. What was I going to say though? Oh, the delay, right. So let's put a delay right here. The delay is always going to show up on the bottom, but you actually have to have the delay on the top. So you're just going to drag it from where it was up to the top, and then this is basically going to, you know those three little dots that show you when somebody's typing? This is basically going to show you when somebody's typing, or sorry, it's going to show them. It's going to make it look like you're typing. So you can actually change this to, you know, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever you think is realistic for this length of message, because it will show up before this one pops up on their screen. So, oh yeah, okay. So when they click this button, I want to actually press on send message, and then click on this one. So this is going to start the sequence of what I want them to see after they choose the Let's Get Started button. So they're going to see Let's Get Started. And then here I'm going to say excellent. And then I'm going to actually put a video in here. let's click on that. And where's my video that I want? Here. Oh, I know why. Yes. So the file size has to be smaller than 25 megabytes. Just so everybody knows. That one is interesting. That one is too big too. So while that video is loading, I'm going to just put this down here. Let's get rid of that. Down there, we don't need that yet. And I've got a lot of screens open, don't I? I'm just going to show you an example. This is about 1 minute and 45 seconds. And so this is after they say, let's get started. Then I'm going to say, excellent. And then this video shows up here.
Might look familiar, probably came from one of my videos on a post there. Yeah, so I just really wanted to make this video short and just kind of introduce myself and say hi and thanks for being here. I also want to let you know that this very first part is going to be automated. So it just makes things really fast, basically. Is like I can ask a few questions, you can tell me a few things, and we can get through to the part where I'm actually able to like serve you best and to know a little bit more about you and what you're looking for. And a lot of the times here with what we're doing, you know, and very much what you would have heard in the video is it's all about automation. So right now I could be at the beach, I could be with my family, I could be in my backyard, I could be somewhere just away from my desk, right? So this little next part of the sequence, or this part of our bot, you know, I like to call my bot Chelsea. I don't know why, don't know where. I've named my bot. It just allows us to be able to like live the life that we want to live, right? And it is able to help serve you so that while I'm out doing that, then you can already get started on this first part and it makes the transition seamless, right? So, and then after these first few pieces, then you absolutely will get me. We can hop on the phone or we can just chat over Messenger or whatever that next step looks like. Everybody's comfortable with something different. But I really look forward to getting to know you better and take your time with these next couple of questions and really share more about who you are and what you're looking for in life, right? And that way I really know who's serious, who I'm going to invest time with, you know, because we're all here to make a really big change and I want to align with the ones that are very similar to myself. So let's dig in, enjoy the rest of the process, and we'll chat with you real soon, okay? Bye!
Okay, so yeah, so it's just a quick little video, right? And it's just telling people, it's enticing when you're telling them, and it's the truth. That's the thing. It's like when you do have it on automation, you could be anywhere and it's already doing the work for you, right? So it's faster for them. There's no lag time. It keeps them interested. It keeps them excited. They don't have to wait for you. And at the same time, like you'll see this next part that we're going to do, we're going to give them a little survey that has questions. It's already kind of pre-qualifying them for you. And doing some of that beginning legwork to see if they're going to be a good fit with you and your team, right? So the video is a great idea, especially because they can see your face, they can hear your voice, they can see your surroundings. You can tell a lot by somebody's body language. Obviously, we all know that. You can immediately right away feel whether you trust them or don't trust them. There's a look in their eye, right? So this will warm people up to you like immediately. So they see you inside of your ad, but your ad is just one thing. Like you could have taken a lot of time to do that ad and pieced it together and done Photoshop and blah, 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 right? This is like raw, uncut. They get you. It's welcome, you know? So really great idea. I highly recommend that everybody, you know, put a little video in there. So, yeah, so, let me see. Okay, so then our video is there. Oh wait, I also wanted to do the delay. Don't let me forget the delay. Here, let me make this piece a little bit bigger. I want the delay. It's a random number. So excellent. And then this part, the video, and then that's going to go right into, you're going to come down here and you're going to continue to another step. You're going to choose the next step. And I think it's starting with a 4. No, sorry. Back up. I'm going to hit create new message. Okay, don't do anything with this one yet. Just leave it. Just hit create message and leave it there. And then, okay, let me see what's going on. That was my first one, and that was my second one. So then I want to go to the bottom of the second one and continue to another step. When I choose the next step, I want to select the existing step, and it will bring me to the one that I just created, this one right here. So basically what's happening is, as you can see, this one leads into this one, leads into this one. Here we go. So right underneath the video, I want to just do a little write-up that says, and like, have fun with the words, guys, you know? Like, make it fun, make it interesting. Like, I named my bot. Makes it kind of more fun that way, you know? I hope her bot. First things first. Let's see. And then underneath here is actually where I'm going to put the unsubscribe. So maybe I can do it that way. P.S. If you ever just oops. So basically what I'm doing here, right, is I'm lining it up for a survey, which I'm going to show you. Let me just show you that real quick. So this is called Typeform. So you can go into www.typeform.com. Not right this second, but just giving you a heads up what we're going to do. So this is where I'm setting it up. First things first, let's see where you're at. And earlier in the video, I had talked about a couple questions, right? So this is basically where I'm guiding them to right now. So we're going to attach a survey inside of here. Actually, I can't do the buttons yet because I'm going to put 2 buttons in here, but I need to already have the survey made so that I can link the survey to one of these buttons. So let's actually go over to that survey quickly right now. And this is the one that I've already made. So maybe let's make a new one. Oops. Here we go. So we're going to go new Typeform. So again, you're just going to create yourself an account. It's pretty easy to just get signed up. And when it brings you to that front page that we were just on, in the top right, it'll just say new Typeform. So just hit that, and then we are going to just do it from scratch. I mean, you can go through these and you can look at the different styles if you want. I am still fairly new to all of this, so I'm just basically getting everything set up so that it's automated, and then I can play around with it later. But the from scratch is really good as well too. Okay, so down the side you have basically your whole tools bar, right? So in the beginning we are going to do a welcome screen. And just see here. just going to go welcome. Let's get you started, or let's get started. Whatever you want to put. We're going to add an image. It gives you a whole bunch of stock ones that you can choose from, or you can upload your own to make it your own. I'll probably just, for the sake of doing this rather quickly for everybody, I'm just going to pick this one. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Okay, perfect. So this is basically what our first screen is going to look like when they come in. Welcome, let's get started. And then they can press on the start button. Oh, we don't have anything in there yet. Thought I would go ahead and give it a shot. Yeah, so you can also, like, you can put a video in there instead. If you didn't want just an image, you could put a video of yourself, again, giving a little explanation. So again, just like play around with some of these buttons, be curious, press on them. You're not going to break your computer, you know, it can be undone. So just be a little adventurous with it, you know. So that's the first one. So we're going to go back into our blocks where we add another block. So this is where we can start our question. So we can either do a short text question, which is just, you know, something simple like, what's your first and last name? You can also go in, you can do yes or no type of question. You can do an opinion scale, like on a scale of 1 to 10. You can do ratings, like drop-down choices. You know, they've got a lot of cool stuff in here. So, like I said, play around with it. So our first question, now, again, you can make these questions whatever you want. I'm just going to give you a few examples here to get you started. This is what I have mine set up with right now. Some people like to be super specific, like exactly, they ask them like, what is your income range? And then they'll give like certain incomes and stuff. I personally, that's not my style, but it doesn't mean that that's wrong. I think that there's a few questions that you can ask that you will get your answer if you ask a couple questions around in the right way. So this first one, I'm just going to keep it simple. Oh, no, don't go back. I'm just going to keep the first one simple, like first and last name, mainly so that when all of your surveys come through, when you're going back through them and they're stored, you have the person's name, you know whose survey it is, right? First and last name. Or you can just put first and last name. You don't have to say what is. So then in here, you can turn this little button on, which makes it required. So they cannot move forward unless they answer this, which I do with every single question. I don't want them to move forward unless they've had to answer the last one, okay? I will tell you descriptions in the next one, actually. Let's do that. So question number 2. So I could do like a multiple choice for question number 2. I could do a yes or no for question number 2. So it's up to you. You can change like the way you'll see when I get further down that I do have different choices. So my next question is going to be, what's going on in life? So underneath here you can say description. This will show up a little bit smaller, so you can say be as descriptive as possible. Okay. Number 3. With online reason why I asked this question is not because the experience is necessary, obviously, mainly because I want to get a feel for, like, you know, you'll get a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I've tried something online before, I got scammed. Or yeah, I've tried this or that, I lost money, or I've heard of people this or that or whatever, right? So I want to get a feel for their answer in here so that when I do end up talking to them on the phone, I already know where their headspace is at. So if they have like been in something before, and even if it wasn't a scam, like a lot of times it's not a scam, it's actually the person that just, it wasn't in alignment, you know? So they were never successful with it. So this question is important for me personally, so that like when I am with them on the phone, I know like if they have a bad taste in their mouth, then I can separate ourselves from whatever they've had an experience with before, right? So it kind of like takes that guard down, or takes that that wall down, right? Like I have some ammo basically. So I'm going to make this one required. Oops, and I wanted to actually, while I was still in that question, I'll get back to that. There we go. Just click on the yellow box if you need to get back to these. I wanted to put a description so that they know experience not necessary or required or something or whatever. You don't even have to put that if you don't want to. Your call. This one, I'm going to do short text, and I'm going to say what you currently do, or what are you currently doing for work? What do you currently do for work? Something like that. And that's required. And the next question is, I'm going to make this one choice. So this one I'm going to say how many hours on average would you say you are working per week? And this question I ask, again, like I said, without flat out asking somebody how much they make, right? You can find out what they do, how many hours a week they work, and my next question to them is going to be, are they the sole income provider for the household, right? Those three questions give you a fairly good idea once you learn the different careers, not always spot on, and of course you don't know the variables in their life, but it's in a roundabout way you can kind of put together like where they're sitting, right? How many hours on average would you say you're working per week right now? Or you can just say per week. So the first selection is 20. Second selection is 2240. 60. And then I'm going to do 60 plus. Perfect. So I think if I press enter, it's going to choose another question. Yeah, so just delete that. So if you need to make a new one, but you don't know how to get in there, just go back up to the block and add a block. And then we're going to choose the short text because I want to ask them another question. Oh, and this one, go back up and make this required. Come back down. This one is also required. The sole income provider. And then I'm going to go into multiple choice. This one. This is a really great question because it gets a micro commitment, right? And you can just gauge like how eager they are, right? Like if they say 2 hours, you know, then I mean they may still be willing to give you more, but it just shows also where the mindset is, right? They want to put in as little as possible and still get the $1 million a year outcome. Whereas somebody's like, somebody's like 15 or as many as I can, right? It's just a totally different mindset. And again, it doesn't mean that one's right or wrong. All of these questions just give you a gauge of who this person is, so that if you want to get on the phone with them, or you do see them come through your funnel as a buyer, you automatically have an understanding of who they are, right? Or if you start messaging afterwards, once they get through all of these steps, then you already kind of like know, right? You already know a little bit about them. Very, very helpful. So the first one is going to be, for me anyways, I could put 0 to 5, and then 5 to 10, 10 to 15. Oh, no, sorry, this next one I did 10 to 12, and then 20 plus. Oh, that's nice. Another book. Ah, what the heck am I doing? And then this last question, I have it set up to be the last question, is I did an opinion scale. And it is required. And this one is maybe not need. Want change in your life. Something like that. That's fine. Why did I not get that scale? Delete that one. Oh, here we go. Did it already show up? Yeah, it did show up. So then they can choose 0 to 10. Okay? So these were the questions, and it's already saved up here, so that's good. Now that your questions are all done, you can kind of get into a little bit of like the color design. So your design over here, you can actually choose, like, see over here, it will change the colors of your buttons. Why doesn't it go on the home screen? I don't like it when it's on the screen. It changes the color schemes for you. So just go ahead and check all of these out. See? And you can scroll up. Where is the front page? Darn it. That's the one I really want to see. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So just go through them, take a peek. It'll show you what it looks like as they're scrolling. This is exactly what it will look like, right? And there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I mean, Space Boy. Love it. So you can do public themes, my theme, customize. You can do like customize your own theme. It depends on how crazy you want to get with it. You know, I'm not gonna get super crazy right now, so maybe I'll just leave Space Boy. But yeah, so now it's done. Basically, you can view it. There. So now you'll be able to see your theme with it, your picture that you chose and everything. You can start. What is your first name? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. You guys get the point. See? And these are cool because you can just choose one. When it comes down, you can choose another one. and then scale to 1 to 10, 10, and submit. So something I want to show you guys. After they hit submit, we need to find a way that it doesn't just stop. They just don't submit their survey and then that's it. It goes blank. And it's up to us to get back in touch with them, right? Because in the meantime, all of this could have happened and we could still be out for 8 hours, 10 hours, the next day, whatever, away from our computer. We don't want to leave them hanging. While we have them in the flow, we want to direct them back to something, right? So when we come back here for our survey, the way that we do that, now keep in mind that this function is going to require you to be on the not free account. So that would be, you'd have to upgrade to Pro. That's what I just found out today. So the Pro is, what was it, Mikey? $30 a month? $30 a month.
Build is really low.
Okay, so the monthly subscription is $30 a month. Personally, myself, I think that it's totally worth it to pay the 30 and then the 10 for ManyChat, so that's $40 a month to have complete automation, right? That's just my opinion. We can talk about that later. And people can look around for different survey stuff as well too. You don't have to use Typeform. There might be another one actually that, like, again, this is still relatively new to me, so there could be other softwares maybe that you can link back that doesn't cost anything. But as far as I know right now, and the way that I'm doing it right now is I go into settings, and there's this little button right here that says redirect after submitting. Okay, so once I click that on, it's going to ask me where, so what it's showing is once they hit the submit button, this is where they can redirect. This is what they're trying to illustrate. Okay, so obviously it's telling me I have to upgrade, but then once I upgrade, it's going to ask me for a URL or a domain or wherever I want to send them. Now the idea behind this redirection, you guys, is that we want to send them basically to a page that says, what would you like to do now? We have a live webinar that happens every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Blah, blah, blah. And we can give a little description. Or if you're ready and stoked to jump in now, we have a recorded version of a replay. Just click here and it will pop up, right? So they can either come to the live if they want to be in a live environment, or they can do a version of the replay, which will be instant, which a lot of people will choose because they'll have the time while they're scrolling or while they're in your funnel. And then you can also put another button down underneath. If it's neither of those and you want to just message me now, go ahead and hit the send message button, and I'll get back to you as I see your message pop up, right? So that's another thing that we'll go over after. I don't have this set up to Pro right now because I was going to look and see if I could find any other free options. But yeah, I mean, I'm not worried to spend the money. I was just thinking for everybody as a collective, right? Better free. So now that our survey is done, we're going to go back into our sequence. And so as you remember, we said first things first, let's see where you're at. This is where we were going to introduce the survey. So we want to add a button. We want to title that button. So the first one, we are going to call that button say access questions now. Okay. And so basically, the button is going to show you access questions now. And this is going to ask you, when this button is pressed, do you want another message to pop up where you could say blah, 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 and start talking to them again? If they press the access questions now, it will open up a website. It will call a number. You can do the other actions as well too. We're actually going to click open website because this is where we are going to link our survey. So it's asking for the website address. We're going to go back over to our Typeform. And we're going to hit the share button. right on top of where our Typeform is, our survey, we're going to hit share, and it's going to give us our special link. This one right here. I'm going to copy that. We are going to come over here. We're going to paste it in there. Voila. And we're going to hit done. Now we're going to add another button. That button's going to be called no thanks. And inside that button, we're going to send them a message. Click on this. And we're just going to simply say, okay, cool. No worries. Thanks so much for stopping in. And we wish you all the best in the future. Or something. Whatever you want. So now that they press, if they press the no thanks, wait, let me back up. If they press the access questions, they'll get hit into the survey. If they press the no thanks, they'll show up, they'll see this message, okay? And that is the end of our sequence, actually. So I just want to point something out here because this is something that I struggled with in the beginning. Make sure that this right here says attached steps. If this does not say attached and it says unattached, then you basically have to go inside of this button here, go to Flow Builder, and it will show you like this one leads into this one and this one leads into this one. Sometimes this, see how it says starting step at the top? This is number 1. Sometimes this little line right here won't actually be linked to the next one. That means unattached. So these 3 to the right could be attached to themselves, but not attached to this beginning step, right? And you can change these. Like if you want, you know, if you change your mind and you want this line to go over to this one, and then you want this one to lead, you know, back into this one, and then this to be the starting step, you can actually drag this green thing and put the starting step over here. So you can completely change the flow of the way that you want the messages to go. But I just wanted to show you that, not to confuse you, but just to make sure this says attached steps, okay? It will not kick in as the sequence if it says unattached. So here we go. We can actually click on preview, and once you click that preview, it will show up for you in your phone. It will basically text it to you, and it will show you exactly as if you were the user. It will show you how your message is going to come through. So super, super cool. Now, again, this has the survey attached to the inside right here. See the link? So the only thing we have left to do at this point that's not going to be inside of this video tonight is in our survey right here is basically linking it back to something, right? So we want to link it back to the option to watch a replay, the option to maybe, and we can talk about this as a team, but maybe we want to, one of the options to be to invite them to the live webinar. And if we are inviting them to the live webinar and they click on that button, then we can probably say something along the lines of, okay, great, just drop me your email address and your name, full name, and I'll save a seat for you. So basically, if we are going to register them for the live webinar that happens every Wednesday, then we are going to input them into our own landing page. Okay, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on that right now. If that didn't make sense to you, then you're probably still fairly new. It's totally okay if it went over your head, no worries. I will definitely cover that in another training video. So yeah, basically that is how you do it. So then you do preview. Just check it out and make sure that the flow is exactly how you want it. If not, see, like even in here, I forgot to do a delay. So I'm going to do a delay, and then I'm going to drag my delay change that to probably 10 seconds. Make it whatever you want. And you can just, yeah, I got the delay in there, I've got the video in there. The message is good. Perfect. That's exactly what you want it to look like, folks. So that's great. So we covered ManyChat, and again, like this can get super crazy, right? Like, I mean, you could do like 15 different questions inside of a crazy long sequence like this, right? All of these, you could get crazy with all of these once they press a button that leads them somewhere else and another button leads them somewhere else. So just really play around with it and have fun with it. In another video, we'll talk about broadcasting and how we're going to use that tool. Once you start to get people subscribing to your bot, so mine's still fairly new. I have 24 people in my list, but basically, you know, the goal here is that all of these people are active subscribers until they say stop, right? It's permission-based marketing. And so whatever you want to send them, that usually ManyChat works best if it's value-based. It's not actually trying to like sell them something. If you just like want to send an enticing message with a picture or a video or something cool or fun that you did, or like a cool lesson, or basically like adding value into their life. When you add value into people's lives, they start to like you, learn you, trust you, right? And eventually, once they have a feeling of who you are and the fact that they trust you, then once they do see an offer come in front of them from you, then they are more inclined to trust you and to listen to that offer, right? So this is what we're doing. We're creating a following. And so all of these people that are in here, and 24 is not a lot, but again, this is still super new, you can broadcast to them. So you can make like one creative piece of text with a video or with a picture, and send that to, you know, hundreds or thousands at a time just by creating one thing. You can broadcast to everybody directly into their messenger. Right? Like, don't forget that piece alone is extremely powerful. Inside Messenger, yeah, it's crazy. Super excited for this next step. Super excited for everybody. This is huge. This is an absolute game changer. This is something we really didn't have before. ManyChat is still fairly new, and obviously lots of people are on Messenger, and the deliverability, the open rate, like I said, is, you know, anywhere between like 90 to 95%. That is massive. Like massive. Email is way lower, and of course we still want to email as well too, because we want to hit from all ends, but like email is, I can't even remember exactly what it was. I think Lana Estate said something like 30%, 25% or 30%. So this is just way better. So I'm super excited for everybody to get their sequences set up and really, you know, start enjoying the power of automation and really leveraging that as a very, very powerful tool, right? So yeah, so thanks everybody for sticking through to the end. Hope that was really helpful. If there's anything that I've missed in there, or any questions that are still there, definitely feel free to reach out, and we can either add it onto the video or I can just clarify within the groups. And if you hear somebody also asking, then please, please, please feel free to just share this video and you know, get it to as many people as possible so that we can help as many people as possible, right? All right, everybody, hope you're having a great night, and we'll chat real soon.